Hello grade 9. I hope you are fine. Today we're going to complete our lesson, chapter 9, lesson 9.8, completing the square. We're going to complete the lesson and solve the exercises. Let's remember what we said last session. Completing square, we said that's so easy to get the square root of the equation. If I have x power 2 equals 9, so I'm going to get the square root of x. It will be x, and here plus or minus, don't forget that I have a positive and a negative value for the square root. Okay, 3. And so we're going to use completing the square to solve the equations that they are not perfect square trinomials. How? By making them perfect square trinomials. How? By looking for the relationship between the coefficient of the x term and the constant term. What is the coefficient of the x term, which is b, and the constant term, which is c? Here, that the b, half b all power 2, or the square root of half b, equals the c. Okay, this is the how we are going to complete the square. Here, if you want the third term, what I'm going to do, the third term, as we said, that it's b over 2 all power 2. b, which is 6 over 2 all power 2. Okay? And, or I can write it like this, or I can b times half all power 2. I can make it like this or like this. Okay? Very good. And here, we took how to make it, and I told you if I finish till I made it perfect square trinomial, I can factorize it as a bracket power 2. How can I get the bracket square root the first term and the square root of the second term? And I'm going to put the sign of the middle term. Okay, sign of the middle term. Here, square root of the first, then square root of the last term or the third term. Then take the sign of the middle. Okay, very nice. We said this solution is for that c. I don't know the c. Okay, but what if I know the c? I know the c, and it's not a perfect square trinomial, and I'm going to change it into a perfect square trinomial. I have 6 steps that I'm going to do. First, I'm going to write the equation in the form of x power 2 plus bx equals c, and define the value of b over 2 or half b all power 2, the square of half b, the square of half b. Then I'm going to add the square of half b for the both sides, and factor the perfect square trinomial as we said. How to factor it? Square root first and square root last term all power 2, and take the sign of the middle. Okay, then take the square root of the both sides, and of course don't forget that I have 2 values, one of positive and another is negative, like this. Here the equation is already in the form of x power 2 plus bx equals c. Then I'm getting the value of b over 2 all power 2. Okay, so it's 49. I'm going to add 49 to both sides, So this side is perfect square trinomial. How to get it? Square root first and square root last. Square root first is x, square root the last term is 7, all power 2, and this add them. Then I'm going to take the square root of each side. Here it will be x plus 7, and here, and don't forget here to put plus or minus, plus or minus. So I have 2 values of the 8. I'm going to split my paper into 2 parts and solve the equation 2 times. One positive and the other is negative. Okay, so I have 2 solutions. This is what we took last session. Let's see here another example. X power 2 minus 2x minus 2 equal 0. What I'm going to do, I'm going to find the b. The b is negative 2. Okay, my b is negative 2, and I'm going to get the half of the b, okay, and square it. b over 2 power 2, negative 2 over 2 power 2, so it will give me 1. Okay, then how to what I'm going to do with this one? I'm going to complete the square. How? By adding plus 1 both sides. In the both sides. Very good. So this is what? Perfect square trinomial. How to get it? Square root of first and square root of the last. Square root of first is x, square root of the last is 1, and I'm taking the sign of the middle term. Very good. And all power 2. Here 2 plus 1 is 3. Now how I'm going to do this? I'm going to solve it taking the square root here, and don't forget here plus or minus the square root. Square root here, square root will fly with the power 2. Okay, so I have x minus 1 equals plus or minus square root of 3. Okay, yeah, let's solve it. I'm going to split my paper into two parts. X plus 1 equals square root 3, positive square root 3, and x minus 1 equal negative square root 3. Okay, so I have here solution 1 will go to the other side with positive 1, and here a positive 1 also. So here it will be 1 plus square root 3 and 1 minus square root 3. I have these two values. Okay, and of course you can use your calculator. Okay, that's so easy. Let's see another example. I have here equation ax power 2 plus bx equals c. Take care here, what is the difference here? That x power 2 has a coefficient a. Now I have a coefficient for x power 2. The last example here, I have no coefficient. And this one, I have no coefficient. Now I have a coefficient for x power 2. What I'm going to do with this? I'm going to divide by this coefficient to get rid of it. Okay? So if I have here negative 2, what I'm going to do? I'm going to divide the whole equation by negative 2. Okay? So here it will be x power 2. 12 divide negative 2, negative 6. 20 divide negative 2, it's negative 10. Negative 10 times negative, it's positive 10. Okay? Or negative times negative here is positive. So 20 divide 2 is 10. Okay? Okay, and here of course it will be 0. So I have this equation. This is my equation without coefficient of x power 2. So again, when I'm going to complete the square, the x power 2 must have no coefficient. Must have no coefficient. So I divide by the coefficient of x power 2 to get rid of it. Okay? Very good. Then I'm going to put the equation in the form of x power 2 plus bx equals c. So I'm going to take plus 10 to the other side with negative. Okay? So x power 2 minus 6x equal negative 10. Now it's a usual one, as we solved late in the last two exercises. How to do it? We're going to get the value of half the coefficient of x power 2. Negative 6 over 2 power 2. Negative 6 over 2 power 2. It will be 9. And I'm going to add the 9 to both of the two sides. Here, positive 9 here, and positive 9 here. Add them to the both of the two sides. Then I'm going to factorize this perfect square trinomial. How? Square root first and square root last. Square root first is x. Square root last is 3. And what about the sign? I'm going to take the sign of the middle here, negative, so going to put here negative. And here, negative 1. Oh, negative 1. If I get the square root, I'm going to get the square root. And here the square root, but don't forget the plus or minus. Do I have square root with a negative in the real numbers? No, I don't have. So no real number whose square is negative, so there is no real solutions. Remember from the last lesson, we talked that there is no square root of a negative number, okay, for real solution. Very good. Grade 9. Let's complete. I have here what? I have here 3. The x power 2 has here what? Has a coefficient. No, I can't solve it with coefficient. I must get rid of this coefficient. What I'm going to do? I'm going to divide all the equation by the 3 to get rid of it. So it will be negative 10 over 3 and negative 1 here. Okay? Is the equation in the form of x power 2 plus bx equals c? Yes, it is. Okay. Let's find b over 2 all power 2. I have here the b is a fraction, so I can't put it over 2. So we will going to do what? Times half. Do you remember? I told you in the beginning of the lesson I can make it by 2 ways. Divide 2 or times half. Divide 2 or times half. All power 2. Very good. Then I find that it's a 25 over 9. What I'm going to do is 25 over 9. I'm going to add it in both of the 2 sides. Okay? Very good. So I'm having here a perfect trinomial. Perfect trinomial. Perfect square trinomial. I'm going to get the square root of first and the square root of last. And put the sign of the middle. Put the sign of the middle. Square root of x power 2x. Square root of 25 over 9. Square root of 25, 5. Square root of 9 is 3. Very good. And here, add negative 1 plus 25 over 9. Of course, 1 I can convert it into 9 over 9. Then add them together, you will have 16. You will have 6. I'm going to have here negative 9 over 9 plus 25 over 9. Make them subtract. Then you will have 16 over 9. Now I have here a square, and here I'm going to solve it. How to solve it? We're going to get the square root. Okay, square root here, and don't forget the plus and minus. Plus and minus, square root here. Okay, here the square root will fly with the power 2. So x minus 5 over 3 equals what? Plus or minus square root 16, 4, square root 9, 3. Very good. And I'm going to divide my paper or split my paper into 2 parts. And I'm going to solve this equation 2 times. One with positive 4 over 3 and the other with negative 4 over 3. Negative 5 over 3 will go to the other side with positive. Okay? Then it will be 4 over 3 plus 5 over 3. It will be 9 over 3. 9 over 3 is 3. Very good. And here, this will be positive. So negative 4 over 3 plus 5 over 3. It will be what? Third. So my solutions are 3 and third. Okay? Very good. Let's complete. Here, complete the square to form a perfect square trinomial. How to do it? It's easy one. Do you remember? What I'm going to do, I'm going to take the b and half it and square it by 2b. The c equals b over 2 square. Very good. 4 over 2, 4 over 2, all power 2. 4 over 2 is 2, 2 power 2 is 4. Okay, very good, excellent. Let's see this. What's my b? It's negative 16. So negative 16 over 2, all power 2. Negative 16 over 2 is 8. 8 power 2 is 64. Excellent. So you can solve number 3 by yourself. Do it. Okay. Solve of each of the equation by completing the square. So easy one because I don't have coefficient here. Here. This only I'm going to put it in the form. So I'm going to put here. Plus 13 will be negative 13 to the other side, and here also. And here it will be positive 35. Okay, to make it in the form, in this form. I must make it in this form. Then, what after we make it in this form? What are we going to do? We're going to get b over 2 all power 2. Let's make it 6 over 2 all power 2. 6 over 2 is 3. 3 power 2 is 9. Very good. What I'm going to do with the 9? I'm going to add it for both of the 2 sides. So I'm going to put here plus 9. And here I'm going to put plus 9. For this side, it's a perfect square trinomial. How to get it? I'm going to make a bracket, power 2, and the x here plus, so I'm going to put plus, and 9, what is the square root of 9? It's 3. Very good, equals, negative 9 plus, negative 8 plus 9 is 1. Very good. Then get the square root, the square root of both sides, and don't forget to put here plus or minus, square root of 1. Very good. So x plus 3 equals 1, and I'm going to solve it. And the other one is what? X plus 3 equal negative 1. Here x equals negative, positive 3 will go to the other side with negative, so 1 minus 3 is negative 2. And here positive 3 will go to the other side with negative, negative 1, negative 3 equal negative 4. So these are my two A solutions. Of course, you can solve number 4 and 5 and 6 are just the same as these steps. The 6 steps that I told you about. And 7, 8, and 9 also, but just make the equation to the other side. Okay? So your homework here to complete 5, 6, 7, and 8, and 9. Okay? Thank you very much, grade 9.